Good morning, YouTube. Today we'll be going over the build for the 2017 Corvette Grand Sport. It's a very good car. You can do a lot with it once you learn how to drive her. The first thing that you really got to accomplish is the proper build. We'll be going over the engine, the suspension, the drivetrain, ride height, and the live tune. Live tune incorporates steering sensitivity and your downforce as well as your drift style. With that being said, let's get going. For this particular car, I recommend the 3.9 liter V8. It has a real high red line, right around 8,500 RPM. A lot of people like to use the 6.2 liter stock engine. I don't like it because the red line sits around 6,000 RPM, which is great for low-end torque, but it's terrible for medium level and high-end torque. It's really terrible for that. At least with the 3.9 liter, you can really grind all the gears out to full 8,500 RPM. You'll get up to speed a whole hell of a lot quicker. All right, so 3.9 liter V8 we threw in this Corvette. Ultimate Plus parts in your first 4 categories. So Ultimate Plus crankshaft, Ultimate Plus ECU, Ultimate Plus cooling, Ultimate Plus exhaust. Moving on to the Charger and the NOS. You need to have yourself a dual turbocharger, Ultimate Dual Turbo. For your NOS, you need the Ultimate 5x3 tanks. Some of you guys like to use 15 pounders. That's fine and dandy, but the truth of the matter is you have better precision and control. Be more tactical about deploying your NOS once you learn how to use the 5x3 tanks. Okay, moving on to chassis. You want Super Track suspension, purple. Super Track suspension, purple. You can use the Pro brakes for this. I usually run downgraded brakes, but for this particular car, I like to run the Elite brakes. For your tires, you want to go with the Elite race tires. This Corvette, for some whatever reason, does not like track tires. I just don't have much luck with the track tires. Go with the race tires on this build. Trust me, you'll like it. Moving on to the drivetrain. Obviously the Elite Plus clutch. Now this is geared towards manual now as far as the transmission. Alright, you want to use the 6-speed transmission if you're a manual driver, but there's a trick to that, and that trick is don't use 6th gear. Just use 1 through 5. You can get to top end in 5th gear. Some of you might be asking me, well, why would you do that? Why not just use a 5-speed? The gearing is totally different in the 5-speed, and some of the gears are really long. And it takes forever to get up to high speed. You have a better gear ratio. If you're a manual driver, you use this 6-speed and only use 5 of the 6 gears. Give it a try. Give it a try, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, this car, when it comes to differential, yeah, you see I have a Pro Race differential, and there's a reason behind that. If you use the Super Track differential in this car tends to clip. What clipping is basically hitting invisible bumps and wrecking, or hitting an uncontrollable bounce that you cannot control that affects your path of the race, your speed, your acceleration. It can even make you wreck. That's what clipping is. This car has a tendency to clip a lot if you use the track differential. So to soften it up, you put on the Pro Race differential, and if you look, there's no difference in stats. Alright, it indicates on the lower left hand corner of the square on the graph there that it's a little more sliding than if you were to have the Super Track differential. Super Track differential, whenever you're doing races, or actually anytime you set up a car, you typically want it in the lower left corner for your racetracks. But For this car, I'm telling you, you're going to need the Pro Race differential. It'll turn a lot easier. It is not slidey at all. It likes the race differential. So, race differential. And moving on to NOS. NOS, you want to go with the Elite refills for your daytime racing. Once again, for your daytime racing, use nitrous refills. And for 95% of your races, you want to use nitrous duration. Nitrous duration is just a longer, more drawn out burst of NOS. It gets you up to speed real quick. Now, for the other 5%, or the other races where, let's say, you spend most of your time on the oncoming lane, where the oncoming traffic would normally be, you want to use oncoming. It'll charge your NOS up a lot quicker, and you will get a couple extra bottles. Once again, you got to learn NOS management. There's certain points of every track that has sweet spots that you deploy your NOS at. If you don't have good tactical NOS deployment, there's no sense in having all that NOS. It's not going to get you anywhere. So, 95% of your races use nitrous duration. The other races that you spend on the oncoming side, nitrous oncoming. Let's move on to ride height. This is another key thing here too to help reduce clipping. It's good customization. Move over to stance. For this grand sport, you need to have ride height maxed +5. Dead center is 0. You want to go 5 clicks to the right, or +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and see the changes. And we're going to go into tires just a little bit. This is what I run on all my cars. For me, I'm very obsessive compulsive, OCD, when it comes to my builds. And these tires, I feel, give me a lot of extra grip and control. Alright, we made it. Here we are. Alright, we made it. Here we are. We're out of the garage. Let's look at our live tune. Live tuning. Steering sensitivity. I have mine right at 0, which is dead center. I wouldn't really go any higher than that, but I could definitely go lower. And you want to go with the lower steering sensitivity anyway, because when you race, do your race lines, and your turning, and all that stuff, it's all about precision. So I would go no higher than center, but you can go as low as you want, as you're comfortable with, to get that extra precision. Downforce for this car is a +1. Dead center is 0. Anything to the right is +1 to +5. Anything to the left is -1 to -5. So you want a +1 downforce. Traction control, we're going to leave that off. I don't use it for anything. It's just more of a hindrance, in my opinion. But you can experiment with that feature if you want. For me personally, I prefer drift style brake. I'm a manual driver. I've done both gas to drift, brake to drift. For me, I'm more effective and prefer brake drift. Once again, if you're used to gas drift, by all means use it. Stick with what you know. Stick with what you're good at. It's always good though to learn both styles. That way you can better determine which drift style suits you best. Alright, in my video description, I do have a link with this build in action.